What happens when two general managers with a proven history of working together suddenly find themselves with complementary needs? When does a blockbuster trade become inevitable because a fit is just too perfect to ignore? Welcome back, folks. It's Sunday, January 26, 2026, and we need to talk about the elephant in the room that's been bothering this franchise for seasons. The second line center position. We love Nick Suzuki. He's the captain, the engine of the team. But who comes after him? The experience with Kirby Dach has been a roller coaster of injuries and unfulfilled promises. But what if I told you the solution might be sitting in Long Island, and that the architect of the solution is an old friend of ours? A massive trade proposal that circulated early in the season and is now gaining serious momentum as we approach the 2026 trade deadline, suggests that the Montreal Canadiens should go all in on Bo Horvat of the New York Islanders. Here's the scenario. The Islanders are in full rebuild mode. Their GM is none other than Matthew Darche, a former Canadiens player. He already sent us defenseman Noah Dobson last summer, a trade that transformed our defense. Now, Darche wants youth. He wants to clear the salary cap. And Bo Horvat, at 30 years old with a long-term contract, doesn't fit the timeline of a team that just won the draft lottery. The proposal on the table, drawn up by analysts and making perfect tactical sense, would be Montreal receives Bo Horvat, New York receives Kirby Dach, Joe Veleno, an elite prospect like Joshua Roy or Owen Beck, and a second-round pick. Let's analyze the price. Does it hurt to lose Kirby Dach? Absolutely. The kid is 24 years old with a high ceiling, but he also has a frightening medical history, and he's in the final year of his contract. Joe Veleno is a useful player, but expendable. The prospect and the pick are the cost of doing business. In return, we get Horvat, a natural leader, a monster on the face-off dot, a guy who guarantees 30 goals and plays in every situation. Imagine the depth down the middle. Nick Suzuki on the first line, Bo Horvat on the second. That takes defensive pressure off Suzuki. That gives Patrick Lane or Cole Caulfield someone who can win puck possession and distribute the game. That transforms Montreal from a team hoping their young stars can carry the load to a team with proven, veteran-led depth. For Kent Hughes, this is a checkmate move. He already brought in Dobson. He already brought in Zach Bolduc. Bringing in Horvat will be the definitive signal that the rebuild is over. The team would be ready to compete at the top of the Atlantic. And for Matthew Darche and the Islanders, they get Dach, who can flourish without pressure, and they stock the coffers with prospects of the future. They get young assets that fit their timeline. They get cap relief. It's a win-win scenario. The connection between these GMs is real. They've negotiated before. The hole in Montreal's roster is real. And the Islanders' need to rebuild is real. Here's what makes this trade so intriguing. Horvat is exactly what Montreal needs right now. He's not a rental. He's signed through 2029. He's a legitimate top six center who can take on tough matchups, win face-offs, and produce goals. He's the kind of player who changes the complexion of a team. And Dach, despite his potential, represents a risk that the Islanders might be willing to take. In a rebuild scenario, you can afford to be patient with a young player's health. You're not trying to win now. You're building for the future. Dach has the skill set to be special if he can stay healthy. The financial side also works. Horvat's contract is expensive, but it's manageable for Montreal if they move some other pieces. Dach's contract is more affordable, which helps New York's cap situation. But here's the critical question. Is Kent Hughes willing to move Kirby Dach? The kid has been a disappointment due to injuries, but he still has enormous potential. Moving him would be an admission that Montreal has given up on him as a long-term solution. It would be saying, we don't believe this kid can stay healthy enough to be our second-line center. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it might be the right one. If Dach's medical file continues to be concerning, if the injuries keep piling up, if there's genuine doubt about his durability, then trading him while he still has value makes sense. You get a proven, healthy veteran in return. You address a critical need. You move forward instead of hoping for a miracle. The Islanders' connection is the real story here. Matthew Darche has already proven he's willing to help Montreal. He sent Dobson, who's been fantastic. Now, he might be the architect of the second-line center solution. This is the kind of trade that defines an era. This is the kind of move that says, we're done waiting. We're done hoping. We're ready to compete now. What do you think, folks? Should Kent Hughes pursue Bo Horvat aggressively, even if it means moving Kirby Dach? Is Horvat the missing piece that transforms Montreal into a legitimate Atlantic Division contender? Would you be willing to give up on Dach's potential for Horvat's proven production? How important is the relationship between Hughes and Darche in making this deal happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button, because if this trade happens, it's going to be one of the biggest moves of the deadline. And we're going to be covering every development as the Canadiens continue their push toward contention.